Welcome to my YouTube channel, four-time Cancer Warrior, and this is part 2 of my journey. Where I left off in part 1, I had just had a biopsy of a lump that I had found in my right breast. So I came home, and I am not going to be shy about telling you, I started making deals with God. One of them was, if you will not let this be breast cancer, I will go be a missionary in China. And later on, I remember thinking, I didn't check with my husband on that or anything. I just was like, we'll sign up and we'll be missionaries. I really thought that I could bargain. I mean, I was joking, but I was willing at that point to do anything. That night was the first time something crossed my mind, became my mantra for the next few weeks. And it was, there is no way God would let my parents, only 2 children, have cancer at the same time. My parents have been Christians their whole lives. They have been involved in their church, and my dad was a trustee, and my mom taught Sunday school and sang in the choir, and if the church was open, they were there. And I thought, this just cannot be happening. And I'll tell you, my worldview was a little skewed. Up until that point, I had not had a lot of bad things happen in my life. I was very blessed. And I think truly in my head, I truly believed good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. And I'm not saying that if something bad happened to somebody that I knew that I thought they were a bad person, but I really was kind of living in a dream world. And that night really started to change some things for me. When I did talk with Mark, he told me, he said, there is no cancer. And I can't even tell you the relief that swept over me. But he told me, he said, I do not like how that feels. And if this was my wife, I would have it taken out. I want you to have that removed. And of course, I'm like, yes, sir, no problem. I had made an appointment with my gynecologist, and it was time for my mammogram anyway. And my best friend and I had already set up a time to have our baseline. We had just turned 35. And we were both having our baseline mammograms. We hadn't done them yet. And so he went ahead and set up a mammogram it was 4 weeks out. So I just remember thinking I could be dead in 4 weeks if it was cancer. But at this point, we knew it wasn't. I was fine. Everything was great. I didn't have to go be a missionary in China. And so I went to see my gynecologist, and he starts to do the breast exam. He checks the right one, and then he goes to check the left one, and he finds another lump in the left breast. And he said, I tell you what, I'm going to call and change this to a diagnostic mammogram. And I said, what's that? And he said, that's where they'll do a regular mammogram, but they're also going to do specific x-rays, whatever they do, on these areas where I'm finding both of these lumps. And I said, are you worried? And he said, no, they're probably cyst. And my mother has had cyst. And so I thought, he's probably right. And I'm going to have cyst in my breast that we're going to have to biopsy. And so he told me, he said, I want you to go and enjoy your holiday. And my mammogram was scheduled for my dad's birthday, January 3rd. And he said, really, enjoy the holiday. You've had this biopsy. We know it's not cancer. I said, okay. It was a really good Christmas. My brother got to come to Texas and stay with me. And my parents were here. My brother's son was with him. My brother had a girlfriend at the time that eventually he married, and they ended up having my niece Chloe, but she came with him, and it was just a really, really good holiday. But in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking, even though we had done the biopsy and we knew, that it wasn't cancer, it just bothered me in the back of my head. And I remember I just kept saying that same thing. God would not let my parents' only 2 children have cancer at the same time. He wouldn't. So I have to be okay. So I go for my mammogram and I do the test. I'm starting to walk back to the room to get dressed, and my phone rings. And I see that it's where I am to get my mammogram. It's their number calling, and I answer the phone, and this person says, hi, Miss Mader, we need you to come back to the room. We found a 3rd lump, and the doctor wants to do an ultrasound. And my heart just started to pound. And I thought, what in the world is happening? And so I went back, and the doctor was so incredibly kind. And he did the ultrasound. And while he's doing the ultrasound, I swear, y'all, it is like I've got him in an inquisition. I am asking him every question in the world. I am firing off questions at him. What do you think? How does that feel? Does it look normal? I wanted to know right now. And when he got done, he told me, I don't like how these look. And we need to do something called an ultrasound guided core biopsy. And I said, okay, let's do it. Let's knock it out. And he said, well, we have to schedule it and it's probably going to be a week. And I'm like, okay, you've got the ultrasound machine here. My lumps are right here. You're here. Doesn't work like that. We have to schedule it. We have to get insurance approval. Do not get me started on insurance. I'm very grateful for it because without it, I couldn't have had any of the treatment I've had. But so he said, we're going to schedule it it'll be a week out before we can get approval for everything. And I thought, this is awful. This is cruel to make people wait like this. And so we are a week out from that. And part 3, I will take you guys on that journey. It was quite the event, that ultrasound guided core biopsy. And again, if you want to continue to follow this crazy story of mine, 4-time cancer warrior, then hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Hope y'all have a great day.